Hello, it's the beginning of a new gardening year, so time to make some plans. This is something you might want to do as winter turns to spring. Give your potatoes a fast start. Then pot them on as small potato plants to grow to maturity. This is a start to finish compilation video that ends with a potato reveal. Hello, are you gardening in the Northern Hemisphere? It's the beginning of February here at Homegrown Veg, and we're still in the winter months, but I'm ready to do some gardening here. And the reason we're not doing any gardening is it's too cold, it's too wet, it's too windy, there's too much snow, there's too much frost, there's not enough daylight. Hey, take your pick. That's why we're not gardening. But how would you like to kickstart your gardening year right now? How'd you like to do that? Irrespective of all those weather conditions, how would you like to kickstart your gardening year right now? Well, here's a way you can do it. I've been doing it for years. There are videos on the channel that show me doing it. And if you want to check them out, just search on Fast Start Potatoes. Okay, Fast Start Potatoes. Because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be giving these seed potatoes a fast start. Now, if you're a follower of my channel, you'll know that I like to garden in these 10-inch buckets because I'm strapped for space. But I've got lots of potatoes that I want to fast start. But if I plant one potato in one 10-inch bucket and want to take it indoors, I'm not going to get away with it if there's 20 of these guys. The house isn't that big enough. So we've got to go a small scale to start with so that we can actually keep the potato and grow it into a potato plant indoors. And then at a later date we'll pop them in these 10-inch buckets. Let me put this to one side. You've seen these before. Yogurt pots. I think they're about 5-inch deep. Holes drilled in the bottom. This is what we're going to start our potatoes off in. Okay, now I'll get away with this. Check this out. I'll get away with this indoors, won't I? A potato in every one of those. Yeah, I can get away with that. I mean, that's half a dozen of these yogurt pots. Imagine half a dozen of those 10-inch water buckets or more. I wouldn't get away with it. It's not going to happen. So these are ideal. Now then, I'm going to plant one of these potatoes on camera. Then I'm going to cut you to a video that I made some time ago that will better explain why we're doing this. Okay. The potatoes I'm working with today are Kestrel, and these are Vivaldi. Okay, Kestrel, Vivaldi, and these are all early type potato. And this is how easy it is. Just let me put these gloves on. Now, if you're going to be growing potatoes in an allotment, or if you've got a big area of ground and these potatoes are grown in the ground, there's no need to do this. In fact, there's no need to do this if you're growing in buckets or pots. I like to do it because it gives me a fast start. Okay, so I simply put a couple of inches of soil in the bottom of there. We'll take a potato. As you can see, it's chitted up. We'll just sit it in there and we'll hold it with our finger and then That's it. We've planted a potato. Now then, there is definitely no need to water this potato. It's a potato, look. You can pour as much water on that as you like. It's not going to take it up. It's got no roots. It's hardly got shoots. So there's no need to water it at this stage, only when you've got some top growth, or if you feel as though this soil has dried out. Give it a small drink, but don't give it a lot. Right, I'll cut you to that video. When you come back, these guys will all be in these yogurt pots. See you when you get back. Hello. About a month ago, I bought these potatoes on our local high street. Check them out. These are potatoes bought to eat. I don't know if you noticed, but none of those potatoes were showing signs of growth. None of them had chits. They're all either near or past their sell-by date, but they're all perfectly good eating potatoes, and we did eat most of them. But I set some aside to grow on. Let me show you this. These are two of those potatoes. They've been on my windowsill now for about a month. They're a couple of Kojaks. There's nothing on them, is there? They're bald. There's no chits. They've turned a little green, but there's no signs of growth, is there? After 1 month standing on a windowsill. Is that what you're doing with your seed potatoes? You're standing on a windowsill, waiting for them to chit. Let me show you this. That was one of those potatoes. A month ago, that looked like that. A month ago. Now I've already done a video showing you this. The reason I'm doing this one today is because we've got to move on to the next step. We've got to plant these guys. And I know I've had quite a few comments about, hey, how are we going to do this? You know, you've got a small potato plant there, how are you going to plant that on? How do you do that? Well, I'm going to show you that today. Okay, but let's just check this root system out on this guy before we do that. How's that? That's what we call a potato plant. That's what we call a potato. Look at the difference. Which would you rather be planting, that or that? I think I know the answer. Okay, so we'll pop that back in there. But to help us sow this and to prevent damage to this growth, because now we've got it, we don't really want to lose it, we don't want to break it off if we can help it. I'm going to make something. I'm going to make something from a pop bottle, from a lemonade bottle, that'll help us protect this top growth when we plant this in a 10-inch water bucket. Let me just take all this off the table and show you what we're going to do. Okay. This is our pop bottle. As you can see, I've taken the label off. What we're going to do, we're going to cut the bottom off this. Now I'll warn you now, we're using a sharp blade and we're using scissors. These bottles aren't designed to be cut, so be very, very careful if you do it. Okay. What I'm hoping to do, There are always lines around these bottles. I hope you can see them. There's usually one near the bottom, sometimes one near the top. I'm going to try and follow this line round. Okay, now you possibly can't see it on video, but I certainly can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small incision with this blade, then hopefully with the scissors I'm going to cut the bottom off. Okay, so as I've said, these guys aren't meant. Now, if you were confident, you could probably take that the whole way around, but I'm not that confident with the blade. I've cut myself once or twice over the years, and I'm hopefully not going to do it while I'm making this video. So as I've said, I can see that line, possibly you can't. With a bit of luck, we'll get round the other side, we'll hit that cut. We'll soon find out, won't we? Oh, spot on, man. Absolutely spot on, apart from that little sliver. How's that? That's good enough, isn't it? Okay, now if you wanted to make a windbreak out of this, you'd take the top off just the same, and then this would make a perfect windbreak for going around small plants in the garden. You've probably seen these dotted about in my garden over the years. Okay, let's go and plant that potato. Okay, I think we've got everything we need here. This is a pot of soil that came from the smallest compost pile in the world that I have in the corner of my garden. There's a video on the channel shows you that. This soil has actually sat through winter under a layer of organic chop and drop. This soil last year could have grown potatoes, it could have grown leeks, it might have grown carrots, and it could have grown celery. Because I grew them all last year in pots. And the other thing I did last year in pots, I actually followed up early potatoes with leeks and with celery. So this soil may even have grown 2 crops last year. Is that crop rotation in a pot? I think it is. 2 different crops, same soil in this pot. Anyway, so this is overwintered with chop and drop on it. But I need to spark it up. If I'm going to use it again this year, I need to spark it up. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to empty this out of this pot. I've already had it out of the pot just to break it up. When it first comes out, it comes out as a soil ball. But I needed to break it up because I knew I was going to be planting this. So this has already been out once this morning, but I'm going to pour it out again now. But it's just to show you that it's a pot full of soil from last year. And the fertilisers we're going with this year, we're going with Grow More, 6X. Bloodfish and bone. And a specialist potato fertiliser. Now I've already spun up, and for this particular potato we're going to go with Growmore. Growmore won the toss, and furthermore it's probably easier to see when I add it to this soil. Okay, let me just move this out of the barrow. Let me show you what this pop bottle's about. Okay, now you may not see this actually happen when I use the bucket, the 10-inch bucket, because this will be sitting near the bottom of that bucket, and I'm not too sure how the camera catches that. But what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 inches of soil in the bottom of the bucket. We're going to sit this on it, take it out of this yogurt carton obviously, but we're going to sit it on it, and we're going to fill that bucket. Now these are in imminent danger of getting snapped right off, aren't they? They are. If I pile soil on top of those, they're going to break off. Hey, check this out. Homegrown veg. This is where you saw it first. Check this out. How good is that? Perfect fit. Am I right or am I wrong? Perfect fit. So what we're going to do is, imagine that sitting in the bottom of the bucket now. It's out of its yogurt carton, it's in the bottom of the bucket. We pop this over it, fill the bucket with soil, then we'll jiggle this out, let the soil fall in around that potato. Job done. Hey, come on. Right, let's sort this soil out. Okay, so as I've said, I've already had this out. It was a solid mass when it came out, but I've had to break it up because I knew it was going to have a potato planted in it. Just as we thought, it is shot through with worms. There's plenty of worms in there. You may not be able to see them, but there is. Oh, and there's about half a container of this Growmore, whatever that equates to, I don't know. I think I've said this before, haven't I? There are only 3 measurements at homegrown veg. There's not enough, more than enough, and just enough. That's just enough. Okay, well, so we'll mix this up. It is quite wet, this actually, because it has been outdoors all winter, and although I've tried to dry it out as best I can by laying it out on a tarp and letting the wind blow across it, it is quite wet. Right, let's move this back at you. Okay. Right, we'll just pop 2 inches into the bottom of that. That looks like 2 inches to me. Okay. Right, take our gloves off for this. This could be delicate. We'll pop that there so we can reach it. Get this out. Hey, this is the bit I like. Just sling this down there. Get out of it! I'll pick it up later, don't worry. There. How good is that? Are you getting that? Can you see that sitting in that pot? I honestly don't know what you're getting, but that's sitting in that pot. Right. pop bottle protector going on. Ha ha ha! Come on, can you see that? Can you see it? I've no idea. I'm getting overexcited. Right, so let me just push that about a bit. Hold it steady. None of that soil touched any of those leaves. How good is that? Right, shake it in. Now then, haha, now then. All this of course falls down if that potato plant comes out with this pop bottle. Nice and gently, does it? How's that? How's that? Are you impressed? I've even impressed myself. I've even impressed myself. Right, so that's a potato planted. I can't remember what variety it is. I'll have to go and check and then put a ticket in. It's still February, it's March in a couple of weeks, so we're still in winter. This guy's going to stand in my garage now for as long as it takes for this potato to break that surface. And once it breaks the surface, then obviously it'll need some light, and I'm hoping to stand these guys in a greenhouse until such times as they're ready to harvest, or they need to be moved out so we can get some tomatoes in, whatever comes first. Well, that didn't take long. It must have taken me all of 2 or 3 minutes to plant these 10 potatoes. 5 Kestrel, 5 Vivaldi. I've even had time to make myself a brew. How good is that? And now we can take this indoors. It's tidy, isn't it? I've got a lot more to do, but not on this video. get a closer look at them. Oh yeah, there's no mistaking these. These are definitely Kestrel. So it's mystery solved. What we're going to do now is weigh them and see if we can beat that £1.5 that I got with those other potatoes, which we're now saying were Vivaldi. I think they're Vivaldi. Right, hey, look at that. Can't mistake those potatoes, can you? You just can't. Okay. Let's clean this seat out. We'll put the scales in the sink and then we'll weigh them. Right. Just run that. Let's see if we can beat that £1.5. It's going to be a draw. It's a draw. Right, we've got £1.5 of Vivaldi a few days ago. Now we've got £1.5 of Kestrel. These are definitely Kestrel. Hey, we're happy with that. We're happy we've sold that mystery, I'll tell you. We really are. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Homegrown Veg signing out.